Welcome to Action Coaching. It's a delight to have of Action Coaching. I want you to know that Action God-given potential that's in you, out of you, so you can live your best life. To hit share, and let others know that Action Coaching is on the air now and they need to be a part of this exciting coaching session. I know that it's going to be a blessing to you, and I know that God is going to continue to motivate you to fulfill your God-given potential in your life. Today I want to talk about a success principle that I believe that all of us need, and that one time or another to use this principle in order to be successful. I'm going to talk from the title of this coaching session, Look But We Don't See. Many times in life, people can be guilty of looking, but not actually seeing. I used to think that looking and seeing was the same thing. But however, I found out later on in life that looking and seeing are not necessarily the same thing. For instance, let me give you an example that'll perhaps help clarify what I'm going to talk about on today. Right now, we're in the midst of the voting season. And of course, we have two candidates running. And you, like me, you constantly are looking at commercials. You're looking at emails and ads that have been sent to you. And at the end of the day, though you're looking at the commercials or looking at the ads, how many people actually see what the results of the policies are going to be after that particular person gets in office? And a lot of times you can be guilty of looking at something and not actually understanding the results of it after it's over. And in life, you got to learn to look, but you also have to learn to see. And even to be successful, you have to learn those particular things. And voting is just one of them. When we talk about voting, a lot of times, have you ever wondered why the black and brown people and minority people are being discouraged from voting? We live here in the state of Georgia, and Georgia is one of the most difficult states in the country almost when it comes to people of color or minorities who have the opportunity to vote. Now, I know sometimes a person can look and say, well, my vote won't make a difference. I don't need to vote. I'm not going to stand in line. I don't like either one of the candidates, so I'm just not going to vote. But however, when that person begins to see the impact of their vote, they begin to understand. So looking and saying that my vote is not going to count, and I'm not going to get involved in that election process and all of those things. But when you begin to see the results, then you say, oops, I wished I would have voted. My vote might have made a difference. Life is all about that. Success is all about that. Success is based on the principle. It's not so much what you're looking at. It's all about what you actually see. You can see a successful football player basketball player, whatever, a person that's successful in business, and maybe you looking at all of the money they have, or the yacht, or the nice clothes that they wear, or the fine cars that they're driving, and that is something to look at. But then if the covers could be pulled back where you could see the struggle they had to go through, or the times they were hungry, or had to file bankruptcy, or had to go through persecution, or had to go through a host of sickness and things that you didn't see in your looking, but when you get behind the scenes, then you begin to see that, oh, this is not as easy as it looks. And in life, sometimes we'll look at things and think that surely we can do that, or we can do it better than the next person, that just because we're talking from what we're looking at and not necessarily from what we are seeing. Now, I want you to know that it is exciting about this principle I'm teaching on today, that we've got to understand the difference between looking and seeing. God wants us to know, and I want you to know as a person, that not only do you have to look at something, but you have to see it also. Time and time and time in our life, we look at things and we think that's reality, but we don't see the benefit of doing the right thing. For instance, you can see all these commercials about we need to be in good health, we need to practice healthy living, but yet we're looking all of the time on the television or in life. People are eating whatever they want, they're enjoying life, they're having a good time, and so we think just because we see it, we can go do it too. Not that I'm saying everything is harmful. I'm just simply saying that before you partake in something, you got to see the consequences of it. And if you begin to see some things, you'll say, no, I don't think I need to bother that. Because later on in life, the thing that you didn't see while you were looking are the things that can come back to harm you in a terrible way. So looking and seeing is important. It's a protocol to be successful. It's a protocol for doing anything great in life. You have to help the student understand, or the person that you're coaching understand, that you not only got to look, but you have to see also. Because if you ever try to move a person that is only looking, well, I can tell you this about looking. Anything that you attempt to try, anything that you endeavor to do, anything that you are facing, when you look at it, you think that there is no way out, or you think that it's a mountain you cannot climb. You think that people like me are born maybe on the wrong side of the track, are not as smart as the other person, cannot do it. But that's all about looking. But when you begin to see, then you can see, why not me if I do certain things? Why not me if I prepare myself? Why not me if I put in the work? Why I cannot have the same success that anyone else can have? Well, let me take that back. I don't want you to have the success that anyone else have. I want you to have the success that you need to have. Now, in a moment, I'm getting excited about talking about that success, but I trust that you understand so far that there is a difference between looking and seeing. I'll be right back to talk to you.
On January the 6th, 1953, my first child was born, a son, Wiley Jackson Jr. For the first year and a half, he was fine. A healthy baby, happy, and everything was well. Very pampered because him being the first child in the family, he was petted, pampered, and everything by my sister-in-laws. They would even argue over who was going to hold him and how long they would hold him and everything. But after about a year and a half, he became ill. He would not eat, play, or do anything. I carried him to the doctor, and after the doctor examined him, he really couldn't find out what was wrong with him, but they took more extensive tests. And one day at home, he called me to come to the hospital. I went to the hospital and he told me that my child had leukemia.
Welcome back. I left off talking about seeing, and I want to expound on that a little more. I want to start with my own testimony. When God told me at that particular time that I was to begin a ministry, now understand, I've shared in times past, I had no aspirations or dreams of being a preacher. I truly thought that was for somebody else other than me. Now, I would have been a good church member. I would have been a good deacon. I would have been a good choir member if I could sing in the choir or anything they wanted me to do in church. I thought that would be my task in life, and that would be what I am good at. Because I was looking at the fact that, the preacher has to get up and talk and give a sermon. And I'm sitting in the pews and I'm hearing everybody talk about the preacher, talk about the sermon, talk about everything. This, that, he's not running the church right. He's not doing this and that. And so I'm looking like the rest of them. And of course, in looking, I said, I never do that. But however, when you begin to see, it's amazing how you can judge somebody till you have to walk in their shoes. And then all of a sudden you find out why they made the decisions they made, why they did the things that they did, why they had to step out or move in a certain area, but you were just looking and not seeing. It's important in life that we begin to understand the power of not only looking, but seeing. Understand that you can look at things and desire them. But however, you got to see what it takes to have those things. It's not like you're going to snap your finger or wake up one morning and say, I'm going to be rich and prosperous. Yeah, it's good to look at the thing that riches can bring you, but also you got to see the amount of work and the amount of perseverance and the amount of drive that you have to achieve your goal. I simply want to encourage you on today that there is a difference between looking and seeing. And the more you understand the difference, it will allow you to be successful at whatever you desire to do. Now, I like to say that looking is not a bad thing. You just have to keep it in its proper context. You and I, a lot of people, on occasions before COVID-19, you go to the mall every weekend. Now I know there's still people going to the mall in COVID-19, but it's not as crowded and as free-flowing as it used to be pre-COVID-19. But however, one thing, you will go in the mall and you will see different displays in the window. You will see a coat, a jacket, or whatever, pocketbook, watch, jewelry, all of these things that you would desire to have, or even you can picture yourself having those things. And maybe you went in the store and inquired about having this particular thing that you saw or you would desire to have. But when they quoted the price, all of a sudden you understood that it was a world of difference between looking and seeing. Because the seeing helps you to see that can you really afford that price? Does it really mean that much to you? But however, when you look and you have saw, then you understand what it takes to get things done in life. The job of a coach is to help a person. And remember, I said nobody makes it without a coach. Every one of us needs somebody to coach us. Now understand, the coach is not trying to take over your life or demand that you follow everything exactly. A coach is just designed to point you in the right direction so you can get the best out of your gifts and your talents. Now, so many times when a coach is coaching someone, it's all right for you to see or look and see where you want to be. But however, you got to understand, just looking at it is not going to be enough. You got to see what it takes to achieve that goal. I've learned in life that when I understood how to look and then see, I knew instantly what it took to achieve my goal. God told me to do what I'm doing. Looking at it, I could see no way. But when I saw it, I saw that God will use anyone that will see. That anyone that will not only look but see can achieve their dream, can achieve their goal. I believe that. I've lived that. Nobody in my family had some of the things that I experienced before I was born. All they could do was look toward the day that maybe might, by some circumstances, they might venture into this. But when we were kids, we were not taught. We were taught that we could look. But the seeing part, and when I say seeing, that you actually can have it, that was a whole nother world entirely. But I praise God because I understood that people look but do not see. But when people look and see, it opens a whole nother world in front of you. And many times in life, we do look, but we don't see. Let me kind of wrap this up with this point. We're living in a time where the world as we know it has been turned upside down. That a virus that we can't see how it affects us, we can only see the results of it affecting us. We can look at the terrible things that this virus do and how it affects everybody differently. So it's hard to kind of get a handle on how to exactly treat it. We'll hear one thing, we'll hear another thing. And like I said, when you get looking at all of the different suggestions, you truly don't know what to believe in. But when you see that if you practice the proper things, if you're responsible for your own well-being. You can greatly reduce your chances of having the virus. Now, there are other people that look and say, I don't need to do this. It hadn't affected me. But they're just like things in life. You can look at it and it hadn't affected you, but when it affects you, then you begin to see and you have a whole different opinion of that particular thing. This coaching session is to help you start not only looking, but seeing before you have anything to say about anybody else. Take an opportunity not only to look, but see. Understand that you need both in life. And many people look, but do not see. And there are people that have lived their whole life just looking and still never seeing. But today is your day, not only to look, but to see. I'll be right back to close out Action Coaching, but I don't want you to go anywhere.
I really did not know what leukemia was, but he tried to explain it to me as best as he could without scaring me. So I went to the library and got me a book and read up about leukemia, and I almost died because I knew that my child was going to die. I cried, I prayed, I did everything, but I did as the doctor told me. I left him in the hospital. He stayed there for a month and he still was not doing any better. So finally the doctor said we would transfer him to another hospital. I went to see him every day, and every day I would cry and pray. And finally one day at the hospital I met an old lady and she asked me what was wrong, and I told her. And she asked me if I knew how to pray, and I told her yes. She told me, then I want you to go home and I want you to tell God that your child is his as he will him to be, and that whatever his will is, you will be satisfied. I did that, and every day I would say that same prayer. The lady met me again. She says, do you believe God? And I says, yes. Finally, the doctor told me that my child could go home.
Before I leave you on today, I've been talking about looking and seeing. I would like for you to let me know via social media that you now understand what I'm talking about. Let me know that I've been looking, but Bishop, now I see. And certainly it's going to change your life, but I would love to hear from you. It is other people's testimony that always bless those of us that are giving our own testimony or teaching the lesson. We like to know it just don't work on us, but other people are getting blessed in life too. So I want to hear from you. I want to know, even if you just let me know I was looking, but now I see. And when you experience that in your life, you're on your way to great things. So I would love to hear from you. I certainly want to encourage you to sit down and support Action Coaching on today. Yes, Action Coaching stands in need of your support. Your support helps us get better here at Action Coaching. Help us to continue to add things and expand and make it even more interesting for those of you that need coaching. And certainly, Action Coaching is here to continue to push you forward in life, to coach you up so that you will not be left behind in those things that God has placed before us. So I want you to support us and continue to help us build this coaching ministry so that others can prosper from it. There's a link in my bio that will give you a host of ways that you can give to Action Coaching. And I certainly want to hear from you, and I certainly want to say for myself and the great, wonderful staff that I have that make Action Coaching possible, we thank you for helping us to help others. So I want to hear from you, and I want you to sow a generous donation for Action Coaching. It's been a blessing to you. You should want to support it, and we look forward to hearing from you. Well, the Lord bless you. I've certainly enjoyed talking to you on today. And as I do each and every week, I want to encourage you. Share the word with a friend and keep the word in action.